What if the things you're drawn to aren't random at all? What if they're actually showing you who you're becoming? Hi, I'm Eric and welcome back to another video from Dragonfly Awakening of Colorado. Join us today as we embark upon part 2 of our Creation Manifestation Law of Attraction video series. Today we're talking about following what calls you. My love for classical music ran deep, beyond passion. It felt inseparable from who I was. I lived within it and it within me. In time, that love expanded into a fascination with classical pipe organ music. An instrument of thousands of pipes filling an entire space with sound carried a sense of awe for me. I longed so deeply to play one, or at least hear one in person. But in a small, out-of-the-way town, that possibility felt distant. My opa, Dutch for grandfather, had an electronic organ. He had been an organist in his youth in Holland. I spent time playing the instrument he owned, though it lacked the full pedal board required for classical repertoire. Even so, he played a profound role in shaping my musical life, offering steady encouragement and support. Most of my connection to classical music traces back to him. Now, for where I lived, finding a pipe organ was a very unrealistic task. But with a deep, loving desire, opportunity once again arrived in an unexpected way. At an event hosted by the American Guild of Organists at a college some 50 miles away, I was able to play real pipe organs for the first time. 2 smaller tracker instruments and 1 large concert organ, often referred to as the Mighty Cassavant. I pulled out all the stops and played Toccata in D minor. I left the fugue aside because it required a level of daily access I didn't yet have. But not long after, I began formal study with a master organist. Eventually, my path carried me to New York City, where I studied music privately and became an associate organist. I now held keys to a church with constant access to one of the largest pipe organs in the city. Though I was pursuing a path as a concert pianist, organist, and composer, there was still so much life to live. And life continued to develop even more and more miracles, and I'll share those with you soon. The powers of manifestation showed up once again with yet another passion I deeply embodied. There is a sound that still stirs something deep within me, the distant, wavering call of a steam whistle. It has been with me for as long as I can remember, even in early childhood. My fascination with steam railroads was never simply nostalgia. It felt more visceral, a quiet reverence for the power, elegance, and ingenuity of steam technology itself. Whether it was a narrow-gauge train moving through the mountains of Colorado, connecting small towns which usually only saw nothing but snow and sunlight, or the swing and style of the Art Deco era, something in it all resonated deeply within me. As a boy, I would fall asleep listening to the sounds of the nearby Santa Fe rolling through the night. I'd fall asleep imagining myself in the cab of a steam-powered passenger train, every lever, every gauge, and every valve alive in detail, not for recognition, but for the simple joy of sharing the experience. As I grew older, that inner world began to take form. I started building model trains from scratch, project wood, shaped by memory without any plans or references whatsoever. I immersed myself in books on steam locomotive design, maintenance, and operation, and along the way discovered a natural mechanical instinct that I had, What once felt like imagination was revealing itself as ability. But in my late 20s, I became part of a crew operating a full-scale steam locomotive, the Santa Fe 3751, still running passenger excursions across the country today. Before long, I had committed nearly every detail of the engine to memory. I found myself in a cab as a fireman, tending to the boiler, and eventually stepping into the role of conductor and engineer working on a freight railroad. It was more than the fulfillment of a dream. It felt like life opening again, this time with clarity, direction, and purpose. The principles of manifestation have echoed through spiritual traditions for centuries. Jesus expressed it in a simple way when he said, "Worry not for the morrow, and seek ye first the kingdom of God." When we release fixation on fear and scarcity, and instead orient toward what is essential, truth, love, and right relationship, life tends to meet us. Provision follows alignment. A similar insight appears in How You Can Talk with God by Paramahansa Yogananda. The message carries two aspects. First, when we remain inwardly connected to the source of life, our needs are often met more readily than expected. Second, that same alignment is foundational to manifestation itself. In my experience, prayer and manifestation arise from the same place. When a living connection with the divine is established, rooted in openness, love, and unity, the inner landscape begins to shift, and outer life follows. When connection is primary, creation unfolds naturally. When rooted in love, a genuine zest for life naturally carries things toward completion. It shows up as curiosity, a willingness to learn, and an openness to new experience. Many of us long for meaningful change, yet underestimate the depth of engagement it requires. That hesitation can slow momentum without us even noticing. When love and passion are directed toward life itself, life often responds in kind. From this place, technique becomes less central. A sincere enthusiasm for living acts as a kind of universal catalyst, drawing in experience, opportunity, and growth without force. Cultivating this isn't about forcing optimism. It's about gradually releasing fear and meeting experience with curiosity instead of resistance. From that orientation, even challenges begin to teach us. Life reveals its depth, not at some distant point of arrival, but in the act of engaging with it, fully in the present moment. When you follow what genuinely calls you, life doesn't just change. It begins to respond. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Join us in the next, where we talk about when you leave what you love. If you haven't caught part 1 of this video, I'll link it to this one. If you feel called to go deeper into this type of work, I've left a way to connect with me in the description. As always, much light, love, and happiness to you always.